Hi there, this is Philip again. This week I'm going to show you my Java programs for Chapter 5. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to start off with the sum numbers program, which is essentially meant to compile a sum of all of the numbers between 1 and a user inputted number. So I decided to go with a J option pane for this program. Uh, right now, I'm still working on figuring out how to make J option panes bigger. So it might be a little bit difficult to see. However, you can see that I've got my two integers. I've got the count integer, which is basically just letting the program know to start with 1. And then I've got the total, which is going to hold the sum after the loop has completed. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple seconds to take a look at the code here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that the program does indeed work. All right, so it's going to ask for an input number. I'm going to put in 25 because that's the one that I've used most during the checking to make sure that the program works. All right, and then it's going to tell me the total of the numbers between 1 and 25 is 325. I did instruct it to include that final number that the user inputted, uh, just in case that's what you were looking for. However, when I first started out, it was only doing basically 1 through 24. So the program does indeed work. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next program. So the next program is the random number game. I put a comment here to where I would make sure to remember to mention this. I had to do a little bit of research on how to generate a random number for Java. I could remember from C# what you were supposed to do for C#, but I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it's not that much different, which is great because it kind of helps to have that connection. So I'm going to go ahead and add a nope, never mind. So moving forward, you can see that I've got my random number declared here, and that I've instructed it that the random number needs to be between 1 and 100. I read that you needed to have the number 1 higher than where you actually wanted it to stop, simply because it includes 0 as a number. I've got an integer to hold my guess, a boolean to hold whether or not you have won the game, and then of course the keyboard scanner. And then down here I've got my loop set up to where it keeps going until you guess the correct answer. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that this does indeed work. Alright, so running the program, I'm going to start with 75. Okay, that's too high, so let's go down to 50. All right, so it's somewhere between 50 and 75. So let's try 60. All right, 60 is too low, so we'll go 65. All right, that's a little bit too high, so we'll go down to, let's say 63. All right, that's too high, so it's got to be 62 or 61. Let's try 61. There we go. So the number was 61, and we won the game. Excellent. All right, and then moving forward to the final program. So one of the things that I've been doing so far with my Java programming is basically writing the program and all of the classes and methods all into one thing. With this one, I wanted to actually try splitting those two up because I know that in the book it sometimes suggests that you do that. So this is my first attempt at doing that. It seems like it's working, so hopefully I'll be able to start using this more often in the future. All right, so moving forward to the coin flip exercise. All right, so first up we have where I created the coin class and the constructor and pretty much everything that the program instructed you to include. So you can see I've got the class coin. I've got a string to hold the side up variable. I've got the constructor, which is basically just going to call on the toss method because they're basically doing the exact same thing. So the toss method is going to create a random number. The random number is going to be between it's going to be either 0 or 1. So the next integer up needs to be a 2. If it's side 0, I declared that heads. Otherwise, it's going to be tails. And then, of course, it's going to return the side up. So the actual program that I wrote is right here. So I created a number to hold heads. I created a number to hold the number of tails. I've created an integer for the actual count of the number of times that we've tossed it. You can see down here where I've got my loop. I decided to use a for loop for this. So when toss count is equal to 1, which is what it's initialized to, and when it's less than or equal to 20, it's going to call for that coin class, and it's going to call for the toss method. If it is heads, it's going to add to heads, and then it's going to display out. If it is tails, it's going to add to tails, and then of course it's going to display out. So I'm going to demonstrate that the program and the loop both seem to be functioning correctly. Let me get rid of this real quick here. All right, and let's go ahead and look at our coin flip. All right, so we're going to flip a quarter. Currently heads is showing, so it does declare what's showing at the top to begin with. So we flip the coin once. It turns out that it is heads, so it adds 1 to heads. We still have 0 for tails. Heads again 2 times, tails 1 time, and then it continues all the way up to 20 down here. We ended up with heads showing 12 times and tails showing 8 times. So the program does indeed work. I hope that you have enjoyed taking a look at my Chapter 5 programs. I know that you had mentioned that we could possibly take a snag at the 21 game or one of the other projects. Depending on whether or not I can get through my other homework for other classes, I might come back and add in another video for that to see if I can get through one of those because they seem like they were pretty interesting. Otherwise, look forward to showing you my work next time. Thanks.